Chapter 1. Freedom. A new point of view. The same day, 11 hours earlier. Jamal stared out of the dirty window of the bus at two rings of chain-link fence topped with razor wire. The barriers, light poles, and guard towers surrounded a collection of gray cinder-block buildings. For the first time in 368 days, he was looking at the fences from the outside. The Department of Corrections bus turned and rolled past the north side of the prison yard that seemed to go on forever. Prison is big business in New Babylon. Mercy Hospital, that was the biggest employer in town. Then the government offices, city and county staff. Then the prison. Jamal looked at the bag on the empty seat next to him. One change of clothes, all too big. Sagging wasn't a fashion statement for him now. It was life. He felt in his pocket. One watch, not running. One old cell phone, dead. One wallet, no license, just a prison ID. And $41, mostly what he had the day of the sentencing, plus an envelope with $6 in state pay. The bus turned down an industrial highway now, passing brick factory buildings mostly closed. A couple of warehouses showed signs of life. Junkyards were busy. The city impoundment lot. Wheels? Jamal thought. His wheels? Gone. Impound. Junkyard. Who knew? Didn't matter. He tapped his pocket. $41, he thought. What the hell? Plus state pay. $47 to his name. The bus made its first stop at the railroad depot. You could still catch a train out of state, and there was a commuter line to take you to the airport. Buses there, too. Cheap buses to get you out of town. That's what the city officials hoped for. Man gets out of incarceration, get that man out of town. New Babylon was worn down and worn out. It had been a big city years ago, after the war. Good jobs, nice place to live. But the factories closed. The jobs disappeared. They cut up the town with big highways, and anyone with money moved to the suburbs. Jamal's bus stopped. End of the line. City Hall and the Justice Center on one side. Police station across the street. Jamal stepped onto the sidewalk, and one convicted felon on the street, he thought. He looked around. The uniforms that busted him. The suits who convicted him. It was like he still had his prison jumpsuit on. He had to get out of this place. Jamal's half-sister Jennifer, she was going to give him a room. For a few nights, she had said. A few, she had repeated. She would be home after work, maybe 6 o'clock. Jamal started walking, across Broad Street, through that little alley, then away from downtown or Spruce or Pine or Maple or some other damn tree name. He crossed MLK Boulevard. He now knew exactly where he was. 2 blocks up High Street to Stewart Street. Roosevelt Middle School. 3 blocks to the right. The big AME church on the corner. All quiet right now. But come dark, the Doughboy and Pink and their crew, they be setting up shop. Easy on, easy off from the highway. Suburban folk. They want to get in and get out. That's okay with the crew. Keep 'em moving. Good for business. Come election time, the cops try to beat down on the trade. That was last year. It was stupid, Jamal thought. There weren't any jobs that summer. Not in fast food, not anywhere. And you could make more in one night than in a week at Mickey D's. Just pick up the merchandise. Take it to the customer. Bring back the cash. Just his damn luck to get caught in an election year sweep. He took a customer's cash and out of nowhere, 2 damn cops. And he was going down. He was busted. Jamal kept walking up the hill, reliving the night, remembering all the legal mumbo-jumbo he never really understood. He just came away knowing he had to accept the plea deal. If things went wrong, he'd have been looking at 10 years, maybe more. Now he was looking back at a year of incarceration. Could have been worse, he knew. He'd gotten a 3-year bid. He got lucky, though. Overcrowding. Court order. They had to reduce the population, so they let out some dumb kids like him to comply. A year, though. Long time. He hadn't been beaten or raped or nothing. He was careful. Didn't cross anyone. He survived. But it scared him. There's a bunch of scary dudes in prison. Gangbangers, hotheads, don't care about nothing. Cut you as soon as they look at you. And there are even scarier ones they keep on meds. All of this raced through Jamal's mind while he walked and walked and walked. And then he stopped. He was standing in front of a church in a small business district. Lots of little stores, all open, kind of busy. Clean sidewalks, trees along the street, hanging baskets on the light poles with flowers. Lots of flowers. Jamal sat on a bench, one of two facing benches in front of the church. Some old dude, a short, very dark-skinned black man, was pushing a broom, sweeping the wide sidewalk in front of the church. "Afternoon," the old man said. "Afternoon," Jamal said, nodding. "You're new in our neighborhood," the old man said. "Yeah," Jamal said. "Welcome," the old man said. "Yeah," Jamal said. "Yeah, I've been away for a while. Actually, I'd never been to this part of town." "We're kind of tucked away," the old man said. "Not much changes around here. Lucky, I guess." "What's it called?" Jamal said. "This place? Ain't the North Ward. Sure ain't the Holmes or Orchard Street." "Pacific Avenue. That's what we call the neighborhood," said the old man. He sat down on the bench across from Jamal. "Name of this street? Not much to it. Just a few blocks long. Goes 2 or 3 blocks over on either side. Just a quiet little neighborhood." "No gangs?" Jamal said. "Somehow we seem to have escaped their notice," the old man said. "Lots of people around here all the time. I guess there's easier places to hang out." "Nice," Jamal said. "I've been away for a while." "That's what you said." "Any jobs around here?" Jamal asked. "Things come up," the old man said. "What's your name, son?" "Who's asking?" "Ah, introductions are in order," the old man said, standing up. "Ezekiel Wright, at your service." He offered his hand. Jamal didn't take it. The old man didn't look offended. The old man sat down, this time on the bench next to Jamal. "Course, almost nobody calls me by that name except my mama before she passed," the old man continued. "There's one fella calls me Zeke, but most folks around here just call me Rev, on account of I pastored at this church for a few years." "Rev, huh?" Jamal said. "Well, now it should be ex-Rev or retired Rev or something, but Rev just seems to have stuck," the old man said. "They keep me on at the church, though. Handyman, sweep steps, this and that." "Yeah," Jamal said. "Yeah," the old man said, and then he didn't say anything for a while. Jamal looked over at the old man, then looked straight ahead again. "Yeah," Jamal said. "Well," somewhere up the block a clock chimed 5 times. "Well, gotta get moving," Jamal said, standing up. The old man stood up next to him. "Like I said, you hear about any jobs?" Jamal looked at the old man, the Rev. He was short, mostly bald-headed, trimmed beard and mustache all going to white. He was short, but he wasn't small. Broad shoulders, carried himself just so. One time he was a strong man, probably still punched way above his weight in his age group. The old man, the Rev, wore thick glasses. Jamal could see his eyes, sort of magnified, looking at him, looking through him just about, but not angry-like, not judging him. There was a smile, a lot of white teeth, wrinkles in the corners of his eyes. "I've been away for a while," Jamal said. "That's what you said." Jamal Thomas," the young man said, extending his hand. "Pleased to meet you, Jamal." Yes, sir, the same," Jamal said. "Gotta get moving now." Hanging with old friends. Jamal had left his half-sister's house at 10 that night. Jennifer had stared through him with disapproval, but gave him a key and warned him not to tell anyone where he was staying. "Doughboy," Jamal said, dapping his former employer. Doughboy said he got his street name on account of he always had plenty of dough, but Jamal had known him since grade school, where his puffy body had earned him the nickname. He was a couple of inches shorter than Jamal and outweighed him by 100 pounds at least. "Pink," Jamal said, greeting Doughboy's tallest, skinny companion with a dap and plenty of respect. Pink had light brown skin and was as thin as Doughboy was fat. His hair, close-cropped reddish blonde, had earned him his nickname. Pink had always been scary twitchy, which was good when you were an enforcer. Then Jamal saw there was even more going on. In his fingers, in his eyes. Pink sampling the merch, Jamal thought. He's using. "Heard you was back," Doughboy said. "Damn if you ain't grown up some." He was right. Jamal had grown an inch taller, and with access to a weight room and nothing to do with for over a year, he was strong and fit. "You didn't have no trouble, did you? I told my boys inside to take good care of you," Doughboy said. "No, no trouble," Jamal said. Damn it, he thought. So that's why. "Come on, man. Let's go to the Q-Mart," Doughboy said. "Grab some brew. Can't be away too long. Business, you know. But we gotta celebrate. Got you back." They walked west on High Street toward the Q-Mart, Jamal and Doughboy side by side and Pink trailing behind. Doughboy went on about business, a truce he made with one gang, cop sweeps. There had been another, but it didn't last too long. Pink followed, then stopped, then hurried to catch up, then stopped and started looking around. Doughboy leaned closer to Jamal and said, "My man Pink, getting a little nervous disorder, I think." Jamal nodded and glanced at Pink as he walked past them, stumbled, caught himself, and walked into the store. "I might be looking for another full-time employee soon," Doughboy said. "We get you started part-time tonight, but there are growth opportunities." Jamal nodded, looking through the bars and window into the store. Doughboy stood back a ways, watching him. There were about a dozen or 20 things he was hungry for. Frosted Flakes, he thought, seeing the cereal on the shelf. His daughter's favorite, Jamila and her mom, Natalie. He hadn't thought about them, not much, except for all that child support. He sighed and was thinking about going into the store. That's when all hell broke loose. Pink, standing in the middle of the candy aisle, had pulled out a gun and begun shooting. Ears ringing, Jamal was hunkered down on one knee on the sidewalk outside. Pink started shooting at the surveillance cameras. Then he started waving his gun at the clerk. He was hollering. He wanted cigarettes. Pink screamed at the clerk, "Put the damn cigarettes in the damn bag!" Pink demanded cash now. The clerk was yelling in Arabic or something. Doughboy started laughing. He just stood there, watching and laughing. He turned and started walking back down the street, shoulders shaking and laughing. Jamal, still on one knee, stared back in the store window. Blam! Another shot. Pink put a bullet in the cash register. Jamal stood up and started walking real slow up the street, past the store, away from Doughboy. Jamal heard sirens now. 2, maybe 3. He turned at the next corner and started to run. No, can't run, Jamal thought to himself, slamming on the brakes. They see you running, they start shooting. He slowed his body down while his heart raced. Cop car, flashing lights, no siren, coming toward him, up the street. Jamal stopped at the corner. He waited as the cop car passed and then he crossed, walking, casually, his heart pounding. Damn, 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 he thought. Jamal knew something now. Knew it through every atom of his body. Jamal Thomas did not want to go back to prison. Looking for Pacific Avenue. Asking for directions in the city he grew up in. That was embarrassing. Twice. Even worse. But the next day, Jamal found his way back to Pacific Avenue. Too early, he thought. Just past 9. The old man wasn't there in front of the church. Jamal walked up to one end of the short street, only 5 blocks, and back down to the other. It was like he remembered. Clean. No litter. No tags. Little stores. Offices. A library. Some kind of bank. Credit union. The sign said. Some places open, some still closed, and a lot of folks all friendly like. He thought about buying coffee and maybe something more at a deli, then touched his wallet and decided no. Too thin, he thought. My wallet is way too thin. He started walking up and down the street again. He stopped in front of the library at the far end of the street across from a little park. Still closed, but a friendly-looking place with lots of signs and posters about things going on and little kid pictures on the windows and stuff. A bunch of children were crossing the street going the same direction. Must be a school that way, Jamal thought. He looked down the cross street and saw signs and a crossing guard a block away. Parents were dropping off babies and tiny kids at a daycare center on the avenue. And there was just about every other kind of business, too. The library, the deli, and the diner that he remembered, and a lot more. Dry cleaners and a bakery, 3 or 4 more restaurants, 2 little food stores, doctors, lawyers, art and gift stores, and even a funeral home. As he finished his third loop up and down Pacific Avenue, Jamal saw the man he was looking for. He crossed the street. "Old man," Jamal said. "Jamal." the Rev said. He was smiling. Now what did that mean? Jamal thought. Disrespect? I was hoping I'd see you again, the old man said. Yeah, Jamal started. Yeah, well... It was about then that Jamal realized he didn't have any idea what he wanted to say. He knew he wanted to talk to this old man. He wanted to say something, say everything, about last night, about tomorrow. Jamal just stood there, quiet, looking at the old man. How about a cup of coffee? The Rev said. You drink coffee? With tea? We got tea. Even got hot chocolate except that's out of an envelope and it ain't so good. Coffee, Jamal said. Yeah, coffee. The old man pointed Jamal around to the side of the church. They went up a short stairway and through a side door and down a small hall lined with offices, closets, a choir room, and such. They went into a little room at the end of the hall, a library sort of, with bookshelves all around and big comfortable chairs. The air already smelled of coffee. The old man went over to a little serving area built into the wall near the door. I always like to keep a pot warm, just in case, the Rev said. Goes back to my pastoring days here. Cream? Real cream? No powder stuff. Sugar? Just plain black, Jamal said. The young folks now, they seem to like the tradition, he said, serving the coffee to Jamal in a warm ceramic mug. Or at least they like to humor me. He sat down in a chair opposite Jamal, cradling his own hot mug. So how are you doing, Jamal? The old man looked at him with those kind old eyes. I mean, how are you really doing? Yesterday you said you just kind of stumbled into our little neighborhood. You pop up again today. I reckon this time it must be on purpose. Jamal looked at the old man. A pause. A long pause. So how you doing? The Rev said. Well, you know, I've been away for a while. The old man nodded. I know, he said. I can see. And Jamal knew that the old man knew. And Jamal started talking about what he'd done. Incarceration, about his mom who struggled with drugs, and now she was dead, and about knowing nothing about his dad. About his sister who made it and tried to help him but couldn't because he was a stupid kid. And more about incarceration and how he knew he'd been protected. And finally he talked about last night and how things had suddenly gone crazy. And how really scared he was, because he didn't want to be in the trade and have to worry every day about getting busted. And damn, he didn't want to go back to prison. It was a half hour, maybe more, before he stopped talking. He looked up at the old man, looked in his eyes. It's bad, Jamal said. The old man nodded. And it gets worse, Jamal said. It gets worse. I got no driver's license. The only identification I have is a prison ID card. I got no job. I got no money. Oh, but what I do have now, just to help me along, is a felony conviction. That means I can't get just about any job out there, no matter how bad or low paying, because ain't nobody gonna hire a convicted felon. Same time, to go along with all that good news, I do have fines on account of my conviction. I got some motor vehicle fines, speeding and a couple of red lights, and a bunch of parking tickets, and they charge interest and penalties on that. And when I got out of incarceration, they gave me a bill for supplementals, said I owed them $9.50 a day for them to keep me incarcerated. And on top of all that, I got, I don't know how many thousands in back child support. Let's add it all up, Jamal continued. Let's see where I stand. No job, no prospects except working for a drug dealer, no permanent place of residence, thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and, oh yeah, $47 in my wallet. The way I see it, I got nothing. Nothing but trouble. What am I going to do? Jamal said, looking at the old man. What the hell am I going to do? Then he bent over and put his face in his hands. His eyes had gotten wet. What am I going to do? He said, over and over. What am I going to do?